My name is coming out of I.S.U.P.K. Started in 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Atlanta. Tonight's class is going to be on colorism. The exact topic is colorism. Prejudice, discrimination amongst our own people, amongst the Israelites. And coming to the truth and learning that you're Israel, learning what tribe you come from. Racism is a big topic. It plays a part in a lot of things that we point out about the oppressor and other races, other heathens or whatnot. But one of the big things that we definitely have to tackle and go ahead and put this issue to bed is colorism amongst ourselves. Because a lot of times our tribes, us being Judite, so-called African American, a lot of times we come up amongst each other. When we go to school, when we go to our jobs, or not more so jobs, but just our communities and schools or whatnot, a lot of times we only see each other. And it's big time racism amongst ourselves. And the Most High set the priests and the prophets up to dispel those myths and shoot down some of those ideologies on colorism. So I'm going to start off with a definition of colorism. Anybody want to take a shot at what they think colorism is? Just in your own mind. Posh, you want to give it a shot at what you think colorism is? In your mind, what you think colorism is?
All right. Okay, so colorism is something like a version of a color. So like, for instance, you're a light-skinned person, so you're considered mixed in society. Mm-hmm. So you know about see about your father. So you think you have more privileges. You think you may have more so-called half-white privilege because you're lighter skinned against the darker skinned woman who's always beat down, bashed on. She said she got bad hair and stuff like that. And the light skinned woman, they look at her as inferior because she may have like a white mom or something like that, so-called, Caucasian mother, But she's thinking, she kind of look down on her because she is darker than her. So at the same time, our persons look at us all the same. Because we, come from different shades of brown, so they look at us all the same. The blacks, the Hispanics, and Native Americans, they look at us all the same. So it don't matter if you're lighter skin, or you go to the clubs for free, or you might get a discount on that. At the end of the day, the person look at us all the same.
That's excellent. Who's on the line so I can put you down? Trooper, what now? What's your name? Oh, okay, I got you. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was an excellent breakdown of colorism. Who is this coming in? Shalom of Christ. All right, the pots, can you pull you got any troopers with a sword? Well, no, the pots, that's fine, because you got the microphone right here. Can you pull Jeremiah 12 and 9 for me?
Call constant.
Because a lot of people think that they see light skin, they see dark skin, and they automatically judge you off just off complexion. That the physical is the first thing a human being to judge you off of. A lot of people tend to think that just because you got you light skin, you got any light in you at all, then of course the first thing they're gonna think is that your people was raped in slavery. They're gonna think your people was raped in slavery. They're gonna think you got some type of mixing in your family. I go through that I went through that all the time coming up. You know, when I just speak against the oppressor, because I always kind of had a disdain, a hateful against the oppressor, the oppressors. Who's coming online? Okay, sister, I'll put you down. And we talk about we talk about colorism, discrimination amongst our own people. But I was talking about when I was coming up, a lot of people when I used to speak against the oppressor, our so-called oppressor. A lot of people would say, "Well, of course you're mixed, you're mixed, and your family was raped, right?" You know, a lot of our records go back to the slave plantations, and we really can't search them out before then. But you know, slavery ended about 150 some odd years ago. Now I have done my research on my family line, on my mother's and my father's side. My mom is what you call a very high light-skinned woman with freckles. But as I look back, I don't see any mixing. You know, another thing about this colorism thing is that just because you are light-skinned, just because you are, you know, you're not exactly dark-skinned, our people always came in different all shades and colors. You know, that can mean that, but it doesn't. That's not necessarily the exact. You got that for me, Posh? Jeremiah 12:9.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 12, verse 9. My heritage as unto me as a speckled bird.
As a what?
As a speckled bird.
Keep going.
The birds around about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
That's right. It says my heritage. What my heritage? What heritage is that? Anybody want to take a shot at that? Go ahead.
Israel.
That's right. The heritage that you're Israelite. You know what I mean? That's the heritage that we got broke off of. You know, that's what they mentioned in Jeremiah so many times. And what he let you know that we are to a speckled bird to the Most High. We come in all different shapes and all different colors. Look at all the 12 tribes of Israel. From the northern kingdom to the southern kingdom, to so-called blacks to the so-called Hispanics. We all different colors, different shades. It's just something we got to deal with. We're not ever just all one color. A lot of people think that just because we was brought over from Africa, then the oppressor mixed with us, then that's how you made light-skinned people. That was the invention of light-skinned people all of a sudden. That's a myth. That's definitely a myth because we are like a speckled bird to the Most High. And that colorism thing is something that since we spend a lot of time amongst our tribe, amongst our people, we have to deal with that issue because our families it's spread down from our mothers, from our grandmothers, from our teachers, from all the people around us. Uplifting. Some people may uplift a light-skinned person more. Some people may uplift a dark-skinned person more. These are personal experiences I've seen, that I've been through. You'll have a grandmother have 20 grandkids sometimes, and she'll take more liking to the light skin kids. It kind of she'll love all of them, but she'll treat them a little different. They're a little bit more special to her, and that all started, and that's all part of that slave mentality. We were brought over here to America in servitude. Our people did not come to enjoy the land. We brought over here as second-class citizens, and we have a lot of stigmas from slavery that we still carry on to this day. And that's AKA the modern day black man and black woman that's formed our thinking, and that's why we come into the truth to get that off our brain, to actually brainwash, to wash our brain and get us back on the right track. We got too much fighting amongst each other when we need to be really focused on the enemy. That's nothing but a tactic of the enemy and they all started that, and they all started that back in slavery. As y'all know, with slavery, that's what's some of the main things, colorism that they showed in slavery, what they displayed in slavery. Anybody can let me know, when you think about slavery, the oppressor, and colorism, that started, and that's how we think today. What's one of the main things that the enemy used, a tactic that he used to make us turn against each other because of colorism? Anybody want to take a shot at that? It should be pretty easy. Slavery. Go ahead. That's right, house Negro, the house Negro and the field Negro. That's the first thing. Anything kind of like white, almost right. Get them in the house. Go ahead.
If I may, a lot of the house Negroes were products of rape. You know what I'm saying? When slave masters were going to rape the women of Israel, and him knowing that that's his child, you know what I'm saying, he'll bring that child in the house to be a servant under him, you know what I'm saying. He's still not gonna get the best like a child you would have with an oppressor woman, but he would still be treated as a child, not the same, you know what I'm saying, because that's his seed. And a lot of times those lighter people that are in the house are, the children of that oppressor wife.
That's right. That's a few scenarios. They the house Negroes, they eating off the master's plate, the crumbs off the master's plate. They get to enjoy the extra rooms that they have or whatnot. So this is one of the tactics they did. Of course, slavery is definitely a tactic. We already read the Willie Lynch letter. Now, whether that was officially a person of Willie Lynch, they got a lot of things in there which they, we already know for a fact that they use. Tactic, the young against the old, the light skin against the dark skin, which is also still goes on to this day. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read the definition of colorism. When I Google colorism, the definition is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Now, I thought that was interesting. They'll say dark skin tone because a lot of our dark brothers and sisters, they do get it a lot. But the light skinned people do also. The light skin, it's pretty bad. It's definitely a big separation. When it comes down to jobs, it comes down to getting chosen for certain things, as we see with Hollywood and the music industry. If you look at on the woman side, it's a lot more lighter sisters that's chosen. As far as with the men, it's not really. I don't really see that as an issue. But definitely when it comes down to the women, they definitely get a lot more harder. Women definitely oppressed. I would say a lot harder, even though we definitely get it as men. Also, you see they're gonna want to put that light skinned sister in the forefront, and if it is a dark skinned sister singing, they're gonna want her to ghost sing for somebody else, where a light skinned sister sing. So we see all these tactics and all these games being played with us amongst our people, and what that does over time, that forms our mind, form our brain into thinking that light is right. To the fact that a sister may say she wanna have she purposely wanna marry or have babies with a white man or light skinned man to have good hair or whatnot. We see these things, and those things are hurtful. Colorism is very hurtful because it's just more ways of crabs in the barrel, keeping enslaving us, and while the oppressor sits there laughs at us. When the main one without melanin, the main one whose skin is wasted away on him, we don't even consider that. We don't even consider them. We don't even talk about them. You could be in a high school or a school environment on work, and the light skin and dark skin so-called blacks be against each other, but won't say nothing to the oppressor, the non-melatonin one. They won't say anything about his skin complexion. As a matter of fact, they'll more so befriend that person and won't befriend somebody that's light skinned. You know what I'm saying? It's confusing. And the Most High is not the art, is not the master of confusion. The Pox picked me up at Jeremiah 1 and 5.
So, come. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
That's right. I mean, what is that saying? In other words, the Most High doesn't make any mistakes. And that goes out to the LGBTQ transsexual community also. You know what I mean? You may come out the womb thinking that you may feel like a woman, but you know you were born a man. The Most High didn't make any mistakes. You know what I mean? No matter what your perverted mind may think, and they go the same way with your skin complexion. You know what I mean? The Most High, He do you was, you know, He would form you in the womb. You know what I mean? Whatever, you have to be satisfied with yourself. You have to love yourself, and that's what we're here to empower our people, to uplift our people, uplift our sisters. You know what I mean? Black is beautiful, and you know what I'm saying? Light skin is also beautiful. You know what I mean? Brown skin is beautiful. All that brown paper bag test, we burning them brown paper bags. We don't want to hear nothing about that. You know what I mean? We're not going for that. Anybody in our family that's around us, that any of these priests around, and we see anything about, you know, any of that colorism type of thing, we don't have time for that. We fighting against an enemy. You know what I mean? We all need to get on one accord with each other, and we don't have time. Our time is short. You know what I mean? You know, things that happen in a rapid moment. We don't have time to get distracted, you know, on colorism and fighting amongst ourselves. You know what I mean? That's always been, you know, the so-called blacks a major problem. You know, fighting against ourselves, crabs in the barrel. You know, the black man falling in the streets from getting shot. Black man, black woman always fighting each other. You know what I mean? We already have enough problems with that, and that's just something extra that they put amongst us. So, you know, but I remember, you know, coming up through slavery, you know, light skin has always been put at a higher standard, in, you know, in the world's eyes. But things started to change a little bit after the 90s, I noticed. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got your Al-B shoes and everything from the 80s, all the light-skinned brothers rocking and whatnot. But now, you know, but after a while, you know what I mean, you know, a lot of women started running, you know, the dark-skinned brothers. You know what I mean? Stuff changed up all the time. You know what I mean? Now, people wanted to be, you see amongst the kids, people, a lot of kids these days, they want to be more darker these days. You know what I mean? People making fun of the light skin, acting like a light skinned person. You know what I mean? They acting real light skinned. So that's becoming a bad stigma these days. That's coming more so of a bad stigma that people don't even want to, you know, light skinned people starting to feel bad. They know they want to be in the sun a little more, darken up a little bit, because it did switch. And I'm here to tell you, you know, even though dark skin, you know, it's good that dark skinned people are feeling more uplifted these days, but it's either this is how it goes. Either the dark skinned person got to be uplifted, and light skinned people get put down, or it's gonna be vice versa. But we put here to show our people that it doesn't matter what complexion, because you know that black woman, that black man, we can make any color on this earth. You know what I mean? I got 3 daughters, and you know they're coming out different complexions. Like I said, my mother, she's a high light skin, what they call a high light skinned woman with freckles. My first daughter came out almost darker than me, and my last 2 daughters, they very high light, they very light skinned, look like they're gonna have, and they got freckles. So you know we deal with that all the time. I got an 8-year-old, she's very light skinned. And they call her white girl. Sometimes they be trying to call her white girl up there, but I told her don't let them call you white girl. Don't let the oppressor's name. Don't let them put that on you. And she took that serious, and she started shutting all that down. They don't even call her that no more. Right. She said I'm a light skinned black woman, Israelite.
Right.
That's what she says now. You know what I mean? Because we got to teach our kids. If we do that, then we got to start with this first generation of the truth. You know what I mean? Because they done played divide and conquer on us too many times. You know what I mean? That's all that is divide and conquer. And that's what the enemy does. You know, divide, conquer, separate, keep them fighting amongst each other. We'll never get, you know, into the plight of where we're supposed to go to. That's why we never should trust our enemy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he tells, whatever the world standard is, Israel never had that standard. When I was coming up, I'm an 80s baby. When I was coming up, you know, the standard of what they had is a beauty queen. You know, was definitely a lot different than what it is now. You know, a sister that's real shapely, you know what I mean, dark skin, or just even shapely. You know, we always like shapely women as so-called black men, but coming up in the 80s, I mean, coming up in the 90s and the early 2000s, I mean, you never could see that. You actually have to go search for that on the internet or something, because, you know, looking at the magazines and whatnot, they never had our people out there like that. They always had, you know, real petite, you know what I mean, blonde hair, blue eyes. That was, you know, that was their idea of beauty. Go ahead.
If I may hit the point you just brought out, you know what I'm saying? This goes back to, you know, paraphrasing what Christ said, you know, how can you take a strong man's house and this first find that strong man? You know, the magazine publications, those periodicals, television with the ad campaigns and all that, they knew what they were doing when they were flashing the oppressive woman out there saying that she is beautiful. This is the definition of beautiful. They were doing that because in order to stop our nation from growing, you know, you have to turn the men out from the women of the nation. And even when you go back in time, you know what I'm saying, in the slavery days, the oppressor man, he always had a secret thing, a secret desire for our women based on the fact that they got no nerves. You know what I'm saying? Where their woman is made like this 2x4, you know what I'm saying? Or a piece of plywood where they don't have a shape. You know what I'm saying? Their shape is void. There's nothing there.
Right.
And so in order to, you know, keep our people pretty much warm with each other, they gave the black man a different woman to look at. And when you go biracial into the biracial relationships, you know what I'm saying, they're just as wicked, you know what I'm saying, as anything on earth, because you're basically telling your mama she is nothing, you're telling your father he is nothing, you know what I'm saying, and that plays back, they goes all the way back to the time, really, when especially when the Most High said, marry within your race, you know what I'm saying, bless your flesh, bone your bone, and then he goes to bless your therein, man, you got to stay with your own people, but our people just choose what they see because they think what they see from the oppressor is right. But the Most High knows what's best because he gave us the best woman on earth. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, he gave us the best woman on earth, and you know what I mean. But you know, our people hate ourselves. Our people hate ourselves that they'll actually try to bleach their skin. Them a bleach. You know about that? They bleach it out there. You know what I mean? Let that up to them Africans. Let them do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? You Israel, did you not read Revelations how Christ came out? Matter of fact, the Apostle pulled that for me, Revelation 1:13 through 14. You know what I mean? If our people find out who the man they call Jesus Christ, you know what I mean, our King Yahanna, they actually find out how Christ really looked. You know what I mean? How the prophets look. When you look back at all those archaeology, pre-Renaissance paintings, you know what I mean, you'll see depictions of the prophets and how we look. You know what I mean? That's really being black and proud. Just like Solomon, I'm black, but I am black and comely, black and beautiful. You know what I mean? That's what that first generation. Because a lot of us is first generation in the truth. You know what I mean? Meaning that our parents were not in the truth. That, you know, we're the first people. We're the first generation that coming up in this truth. And so just like the iPhone got the 1G, 2G, or the Samsung got them generations passing down. You know, the generation starts here. You know what I mean? You may have to be the 1G, but make sure you create a 2G, and make sure them 2Gs create their 3G, and so on and so on. Because you got that for me, Revelation. Yeah, because we found out, you found out the most famous, our Savior, who everybody loved, everybody be claiming professional love. You find out that he's a black man, so-called black man. He's not only a so-called just regular black man, he's a dark-skinned man. Go ahead and read the description for me.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 13. In the midst of the 7 candlesticks, walked like unto the Son of a Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Like what?
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
And that's a whole other issue also. The woolly hair, the kinky hair. You know what I mean? How long did we go through that? And it's crazy because when I came into the truth and I found out about all that, you know what I mean? Well, we just woolly hair is just like, you know what I mean? It's just wonderful, but it's crazy. Like I never was exposed to that before then. You know what I mean? That comes down to even our texture of our hair, woolly. You know what I mean? That's what Christ got, man. That's the top. That's the top man. That's our King. That's the Savior. That's the Son of the Most High, man. You know, he got woolly hair. Keep on reading.
And his eyes were and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass.
Like unto what?
Like unto fine brass.
Like a fine brass. You know, everybody know that's a derivative. That's a derivative of brown. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people that just, you know, when they say the brown paper bag test, they'll fall up under that classification of fine brass. But not only was he, a brown skinned man, but what else?
And feet are like unto fine brass, as they burn in a furnace.
As they burn what?
As if they were burned in a furnace.
As they burn in a furnace, man. You know what I mean? You take a cotton ball and you burn it in a furnace, man, it's gonna be black. You know what I mean? This is burnt. This burnished brass. So Yahanna, aka Jesus Christ, he is a dark-skinned man. You know what I mean? If we taught our children that, do you know the generations that will change? Do you know the ideology will change? Do you know that they're bleaching? Because I heard they doing that over there in Jamaica. Some of our Benjamin brothers and sisters, they over there bleaching or whatever, thinking they're going to bleach their way to success. They're going to bleach their way into a good job or whatnot. You know what I mean? And they found that out, that Christ is like that, man, they'll take over bleaching overnight. You know what I mean? All that colorism, all that hating and separating and dividing and conquering that we got amongst our families, that'll be done with overnight, man. And you found out Christ was like that. Go ahead.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
Yeah, man, and he spoke sternly. He wasn't soft, man. You know what I mean? He wasn't soft at all. But you know what the Most High sent us to do is just embrace, you know what I mean, how we were made. Embrace who we are. You know what I mean? We coming back into our true essence, our true heritage as a people, our culture. We find out about our days. You know what I mean? We can look like anybody. We know Israel, especially if you're a Judite person. Not even just Judite. You can look like anybody. You know what I mean? You know, you went to a school with somebody named Arab, with a dude named Arab. His mom and daddy is a so-called black people. Well, he ain't got no Arab in him, but we may come out looking like an Arab. You know what I mean? Some black people may come out looking slanted eyes, looking like an Asian. My mother look like that. They be thinking that she an Asian sometimes, and she don't have any type of mixing in up. We can come out looking like anybody, because you know we the originators. This earth is our turf. You know what I mean? We the people of the Most High. So you know, we have a child. We have 20 children. Guess what? You have 20 children. You can be dark skinned. You have 20 children. You're gonna have all type of different complexions of children, and you gotta embrace that. You know what I mean? Woe to those people who use them kids against each other. To turn them kids against each other because of a light skin and dark skin, and use all that favoritism. Woe to them. The Most High, he definitely is not frowning on that. He definitely not going to bless that. You know what I mean? And that type of stuff has hurt our community. You know what I mean? All the stigmas they put on us because of this colorism thing. And you know, going to the brothers, because you know the sisters dealing with it hard. But going to the brothers, you know, coming up amongst ourselves. You know, people. You know, a lot of the brothers, they'll try to, you know, they'll try to paint you as approach you as soft, approach you as you're not as manly as them if you light skinned. Now you're a light skinned man. They thinking that that you may be something to play with, but it's nothing but a complexion, man. It's nothing but a complexion, man. Your people could be dark skinned all the way up. All it takes is that one person to be with an oppressor, or to be with a high yellow, or what we call a high yellow woman. And that baby, and the babies, the generations after that can come out, all type of different complexions. So that's why we can't get caught up on the complexions. What we are caught up on is the bloodline. You know what I mean? It's the bloodline, because you can have a baby, oppressor can have a baby with a sister, and that baby still may come out more dark skinned than you. You know what I mean? It's all about the bloodline, our features, because we're not the only melanated people on the earth. Matter of fact, everybody has got melanin in their skin on the earth except the oppressor. Somebody in Bangladesh, in India, somebody Asian, they can come out. Thai person, they can come out darker or browner than you. They definitely can come out browner than all of us, but our features, you can look at that baby, some of our babies come out, my last baby I just had came out extra red. You know what I mean? With red, brownish red, light skin. But you know what I mean? But I look at my baby girl features, you can tell what they'll say that's a so-called Negro woman right there. A so-called Negro girl right there because of her features. You know what I mean? You can't get around that. But you go into a Chevron, a Habib them, they way darker than her. They way darker than her, man. You know what I mean? It's all about the seed of thy fathers. And that's why we can't get caught up in that. Look at Blake Griffin's son. Blake Griffin, he's mixed himself. His dad is black, so-called black. His mom is so-called Edomite, not so-called mom. His mom is an Edomite, oppressor. And we know how Blake Griffin look. You know what I mean? He come out light skinned, kind of red with freckles. And he had a baby with an Edomite woman, oppressor. And that baby came out, got blonde hair, blue eyes, man. But you know what? But according to the seed of the father, that baby is our people. You know what I mean? That's why we can't get caught up on all that. We can't get caught up on a looks thing. You know what I mean? Being an Israelite is, it is. You can tell on the surface because of the physical. But being an Israelite, when it comes down to it, it's not even about the color. Because the color can change. It's all about that bloodline. It's all about the seed of the fathers. The Posh put me up at Numbers 118. Numbers 118. That's how we declare our tribes. That's how we declare, our heritage. You know what I mean? When you look at the 12 tribes of Israel, our signs, our flags, and whatnot. It's never anything about our complexions or colors, because that stuff can change up at any given time. You know what I mean? We got more of the darker tribes as a whole, but we're not gonna get caught up in that. You got that for me?
In the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18, as they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families. By the house of their fathers.
By what?
By the house of their fathers.
Go ahead.
According to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls.
Yeah, that's why we declare our heritage on the house of your fathers, man. You know what I mean? As we know, generations go on. You may get your generation line may get more lighter, or it may get more darker. Whatever it is, it's all about that seed of their father. That's not gonna change, man. It's not gonna change unless you hate yourself and you want to go change your bloodline for your kids and go marry an oppressor and have an oppressor's baby. And you know what I'm saying? You'll be a fool to do that. But we can tell those people who hate themselves. You know what I mean? Coming up the little stuff, the little comments they make. Well, you light skinned, you had it better or whatnot. I mean, I'm not saying that's one of the things they do, but we can tell the people that self-hate themselves. And that's what the I.S.U.P.K is sent here also to do, to stop all that self-hating that we have amongst each other. You know what I mean? Christ is a dark-skinned man. What are you even talking about? One example of celebrity that we have is Serena Williams. Serena Williams and her sister. They came up, they're top tennis stars, amongst the world, ever since they were little girls or whatnot. But we know they spend a lot of time with the oppressor and whatnot. They spend a lot, and then more so with Serena. We see her. The way she talk, the way she try to move. It don't matter how she shaped or how she look. She's gonna. It's like she took more out the oppressor. You know what I mean? She might not even say it, but it comes out in her actions. It comes out in the things the type of moves that she make. So what did she do? You know what I mean? She went and married an Edomite. You know what I'm saying? He's a famous Edomite, but they look like an odd couple. He's like a smaller guy, not even athletic build. You know what I mean? She's just happy to get something. Just happy to get an Edomite, man. She's just happy to get that. That's what the vibe is coming off her. Like she's just happy, just to mix with that. And she's from Compton. You know what I mean? That her dad come up, raising them up, making sure they can play tennis on the highest level, putting them in opportunities. And you know what they do? They got all that opportunity, and they don't even want anybody that looks like their father, and that which is a shame. And now she has an Edomite baby. And how many of y'all remember that picture she took recently? Probably like a few months ago. You know what I mean? When she had that makeup on, looking like she was getting ready for Halloween. Anybody remember that? That's Serena Williams. Posh, you don't remember that? That picture?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you remember? Go ahead. Oh, okay. You say you do remember? Okay. Well, just to bring people memory. You know what I mean? Serena Williams used a interesting choice of makeup, and she made herself lighter. You know what I mean? She was looking like a ghost out here, and that stuff don't even look good like that. You know what I mean? When they get the bleaching, putting lighter makeup on their skin, like a what's his name? The baseball Sammy Sosa, his name.
Oh.
Yeah, Sammy Sosa. You look like you walking around half dead. You know what I mean? You took that melatonin out your skin, you look off like that. And Serena put that picture up on how she looked, man. Everybody got on her. All the blacks got on her, man. Everything that we was thinking that how she was acting, it finally came out. You know what I mean? She have a little white baby with the oppressor, and now you going around playing makeup, trying to look high yellow. I don't know how she thinks she could change that instead of embracing herself. You know what I mean? She got all the money in the world, all the talent, access to all the things that we can only imagine, and she's still sitting around hating herself. She still won't even look at a dude that looks like her dad. You know what I mean? A dark-skinned man. Now, even though she dated some brothers like Common and Drake or whatever, but these are light-skinned brothers. Like they're not even looking at for anybody to look like their dad. And that's what a woman. I thought that's what a woman probably supposed to do. Kind of like look at her. However her dad was, is kind of forming her to the dude that she's gonna possibly be with. It does work like that sometimes. But not with Serena Williams. She'd rather try to be like the oppressor, and that's really sad. And, you know what I mean? And this bleaching problem that we have, that's another sad thing. That it's very sad. I hate when I see bleaching. You know what I mean? I wish we could just shut down all the factories of bleach lotion and anything. Let them Africans have it. Let them people over there have it, man. Like you got Black China. Black China, you know what I mean? Everybody know who Black China is. You know what I mean? She's just as nasty or whatever and wicked. She is a sister. But I say that not necessarily for other things she do, but that she just she's just with all all the oppressive things. You know what I mean? The Black China, what's she doing now? She got a line of bleach lotion. Bleaching lotion that she's selling. You know what I mean? How you gonna do that? I mean, like for real, like it's like that's like an enemy. You know what I mean? It's like you making a move against our people. Like real, like why is our market for bleach skin, for bleaching? Like I just don't get that. But all the stigmas that America's put on us, the stigma that the world's put on us, the TV and the media put on us, about especially as a woman, like I said, they put all those stigmas on us. If you don't know no better, if you have not been brought up in the truth and not exposed to the truth, you will bleach you will try to bleach your skin. You know what I mean? You will try to alter yourself. You know what I mean? You will seek out the oppressor and try to make, something close to just whatever, just make some babies just different than what I look like. I don't want my babies to have my type of hair. I don't want my babies to have my skin color and go through what I've been through. You know what I mean? And that's the type of life we have when we're not in the truth. You know what I mean? That's why it's so important to come into the school and spread this truth week by week. There's so many layers to pull back amongst our people. And it's not just sometimes the enemy is in the prejudice is not coming just from the heathens. It's not just coming from our oppressors, it's coming from our own people. You know what I mean? People want to pick on you in school just because you light skinned. People want to pick on you in school just because you extra dark skinned. What they call them, purple, blue purple. You know what I mean? Like, you got all type of things. You know what I mean? You got that. You gonna get picked on for real. We all know that. And somebody high yellow, they gonna get picked on, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You you look white. They gonna call you white boy, everything, white girl, everything, man. So you gonna get picked on, and it might lead into some fights. It's gonna lead to some fights. If you extra dark skin coming up, if you what they call purple, blue purple, you gonna get in some fights about your complexion coming up. And if you high yellow, what they call high yellow, high red, you gonna get into some fights coming up. You gonna probably feel like you need to overly extend yourself to make up for things. You know what I mean? If you light skin, if you're a light skinned brother coming up, you probably feel like you gotta be more gangster. You gotta be more whatever. You gotta be more of a devil. You know what I mean? Show these boys that I ain't just a regular light skinned person. When it's all about that bloodline. You know what I mean? And if a dark skinned sister, she gonna feel like she gotta be more of the opposite of who she is to try to fit in. You know what I mean? And our people not making it any better, and that's why we name this class colorism, man. Because that's definitely a big problem amongst our people. Pick me up at Jeremiah 14:2. Jeremiah 14:2, man. The Most High set this thing in order, man. You know what I'm saying? Black is beautiful. Black and brown is beautiful, whatever complexion we come out of. You know what I mean? We're not going for any colorism. We shut down all those thresholds against our people. You got that for me?
Come.
Go ahead.
This book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. Judah's mourning, and the gates thereof languished. They are black unto the ground.
They're what?
They are black unto the ground.
They're black unto the ground. They're talking about the Jews, man. They are black unto the ground. They would have read that if they would have read that verse. You know what I mean? They could have felt a lot better, man. But the damage is already done. You know what I mean? Now we got to teach old dogs new tricks. Meaning that, people that's already grown, we got to teach them, we got to reteach them to love themselves. That black is beautiful. You know what I mean? Whatever little, whatever your preference is of liking somebody, you know what I mean? You may be, you may like, if you're a brother, you may like light-skinned sisters, you may like dark-skinned sisters. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem comes in is when you try to put those people against each other, try to act like, something is wrong with an individual just because of their complexion. Or they more smart, they smell better because they light skin or dark skin. They can do this better, do that and do that better. Those things are not true. These are all myths. These are all stigmas that have been put on our people amongst ourselves, that we've done to ourselves, man. And just like in Judah, in Jeremiah 14:2, the Jews are at mourning, man, and we are black unto the ground. What color is the ground? The color of the ground is all type of different colors, man. You got soil, dark soil. You got clay. You got brown dirt, dust. You know what I mean? Real. Our skin complexion has been compared to clay, been compared to dust. You know what I mean? It's of the ground, especially over here in Georgia. It's that brown, red Georgia clay. So our people come up in all type of different complexions on this earth. And and that's what we bring it up, man, because it's really hurting our community as a whole, and more of a distraction. You know what I mean? The media, they're not making it any better. I mean, just like some of these rappers and some of these R&B singers, you know, who are the stars on this earth. You know what I'm saying? Who are looked at as sometimes as gods on this earth. And sometimes what they haul off and say, you know, I think I seen something where Chris Brown had said, he said that in his VIP section, he didn't want no dark-skinned girls over there in his VIP section. And that word got out. Even Kodak Black, he said he don't want no dark-skinned girls, man. You know what I mean? Which is very foolish of them. You know, if you think of something that foolish, keep that in your head, man. All the stuff that we done been through on this earth and been through as a people, keep that in your head, man. Real. You know what I mean? They asked Kodak, they say, why you act like that? Your mama's dark-skinned. He was like, man, I just want something different than me. Man, you know what I mean? Think that in your head, you say that then, but don't put it out there that you don't want no dark-skinned people. You know what I mean? Having a group of girls come, you hanging out with the girls in a group, and you hanging with a star, and the star mess around and tell them, you know what? Them two dark-skinned girls you got with you, they can't come up in here. They can't come up in the home. You know what I mean? As a brother, and these coming from brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? We oppressing our own people. The oppressor has done such a, what I'll say, you know, I'll use this loosely, a good job of oppressing us that we double down and do it worse than him a lot of times. You know what I mean? I self-hate. You know what I mean? The first time you get in an argument with a dark-skinned person, you're talking about their complexion. And same thing with a light-skinned person. You know what I mean? We got to kill these stigmas amongst our people, man. And like I said, you know, that's what the I.S.U.P.K is for. All that divide and conquer, you know, we definitely are shooting that down. And that comes from the enemy, man. That comes from slavery. Put me up, never trust thy enemy. Yeah, bring up, never trust thy enemy, man, because that enemy, you know what I'm saying, he's real cunning. He's like a snake. He was a snake in the garden, man. He's the one that had you stuck and arguing with your brother, arguing with somebody you grew up with for 30 years on how you better than him because you dark skinned, or how he better than you because he light skinned. Light skinned people this, dark skinned people that. When y'all not even looking at him the whole time on what the real problem is. Y'all not even looking at the oppressor and how to come back against him. You're so much worried about the light skin, dark skin thing, and that's funny. Some of the memes they got online about, like, light skin, dark skin people. Some of the memes, they can be funny. We can joke them in a little way, but sometimes we may have to cut that out because we don't have any room for it, man. And I don't see how we can progress on that. You know what I mean? We're to love our children, and love our people, embrace, who we are. You know what I mean? We're definitely kings and princesses of this earth. You know what I mean? No matter what complexion we are. You know what I mean? They're going to hate us. The cops pull you over. They're not going to worry about if you light skin or dark skin. Even though they do have statistics on that they say that dark skinned people do get pulled over a lot more than light skinned people. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that we all so-called black. We all black at the end of the day. We all get oppressed. You know what I mean? You go in the courtroom. That judge not looking at if you light skin or dark skin. All he's looking at is that you black, man. When you go on that job interview, this is a light skin or dark skin one. Maybe it's y'all too, but at the end of the day, it's still because you're black, man. You know what I mean? When it comes to systematic racism, about the class systems that they have on this earth, to keep the black man, to keep the so-called black man down at another rate, that we don't own nothing, that we never be the CEOs or whatnot. That's not based on light skin and dark skin. It's only based off because you're black, man. Real. And that's what the enemy does. They classify things. You know what I mean? We wasn't even calling each other white people, black people. Those are colors in the crayon box, man. It was the enemy came up with that. It was a German. It was like a German scientist that I gotta pull his name, but they came up with that, a class system to start putting colors and calling individuals by colors, man. You know what I mean? Because they knew what they were doing, and this is their world. They're running this world right now. So everything is based off of color. But when it comes down to it, it's all about black and white. You know, amongst all the colors, man. You got that for me?
Hold. In the book of Ecclesiasticus, under Apocrypha, chapter 12, verse 10, never trust thy enemy.
So what? Never what?
Never trust thy enemy.
Sometimes.
Never trust thy enemy.
Go ahead.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
That's right. Never trust our enemies. What did our enemy do? Well, all we have to do is look back at slavery, how they separated us from the house Negroes to the field Negroes, then to after slavery. You know what I mean? How they how they work light-skinned people and put them up at the top. You know what I mean? And light-skinned people had to have more opportunities at that time, especially if you was really high yellow. You know what I mean? Our enemy created all those stigmas, man. And you know what I'm saying? We're never to trust him. You know what I mean? So that's why we come to the school. We have classes like this to point out, the racism amongst our people, man. Because I see it every day. You know what I mean? We'll see it in our own kids or whatnot. And it's something that you do need to be looking at. You know what I'm saying? You got kids. You got a kid that's a little darker skin. You know what I mean? You may have to talk to them. But even these days, the kids with the lighter skins, you got to talk to them or whatever and see where they head at, man. Because that stuff cause depression. You know what I mean? It can cause them. It can cause self-hating. And then when you wake up one day, your kid is grown and you find some bleach skin, some bleach lotion in their room, man. What you gonna do about it? You know it's already too late, man. Real. You already know it's too late when you see that, because you have not done a proper job of teaching your kids. But sometimes that spirit is so strong, they can know that and still hate themselves. That's why we gotta create that foundation today. You know what I mean? Before it's too late. We gotta create that foundation, and we gotta stick with that, because they'll try to tell you that light skin is an advantage, and then sometimes dark skin is an advantage. Man, let me tell you something. Ain't none of that stuff is an advantage, man. We all are catching the same hill. You know what I mean? We all got to catching the same hill by the enemy. We all gotta deal. We all gotta deal with what we have to deal with. Coming up light skin. I bet a light skinned person would never tell you that. Oh yeah, I had it so privileged. You know what I mean? That's what a dark skinned person would be thinking. That a light skinned person had it more privileged. They had it more better, man. They're like, man, I've been catching hell too. What we're talking about? We've been catching hell too. I've been down at the bottom trying to doggone get jobs and doing everything but begging, trying to doggone make ends meet. Out here too. You know what I mean? We all pushed up in the ghettos and in the slums also. We all pushed up in the same areas. And guess what? It's not based on the light skin, dark skin thing, man. It's based off the blood of Israel, of the Israelites. You know what I mean? And it's more so prevalent amongst the southern kingdom, so-called black tribes. But you got that amongst the Hispanics too. So, the so-called Hispanics, the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans. You got the light-skinned Dominicans. You got the dark-skinned Dominicans. And they do the same thing, man. They hate, they hate on each other, and they light-skinned Dominicans got sometimes have more of a privilege. You got the Mexicans. You know what I mean? Somebody, you look at a movie about Mexico, a real famous movie that got Mexicans in it. They're gonna have all the light-skinned Mexicans. Not knowing that the Mexicans a lot of times are very dark people. You know what I mean? And that's what the media is taking over. But we always have to remember that we are whose world we in. Esau is running the world right now. We're in an oppressor's world. So he's gonna play with us like that. Everything light is he's gonna make it like it's right, man. You know what I mean? And that's a lie. That's a lie. Thus said the Most High. He's sending the men here to dispel all those rumors, to dispel all those lies, man. No more divide and conquering. No more self-hating. No more demo bleaching. You know what I mean? Real right. We got to the point we don't even want our sisters to wear blonde wigs, because we consider that's a self-hating. You know what I mean? Blondes want to have more fun. But when they find out about the blonde, and when they find out what they say about in the Bible about blonde hair, about your yellow hair, that means you got like a curse. You got a curse coming out your body. You know what I mean? Something blonde coming up out your skin, like a blonde hair. In Leviticus, what is it, Leviticus? The boss? Like you got a piece of blonde hair coming out you. You know, that's like you can't even come into the congregation. You can't even come into the temple. Like you a curse, man. You know what I mean? And we all have to understand we up under the same hell, man. And you know, in colorism, they're gonna play that game with us in Hollywood. They're gonna play that game with us on these music videos. You know, showing the woman. You know what I mean? As soon as that dark skinned rapper get famous, a dark skinned person a guy get famous, what he gonna do? He gonna go get something that look the exact opposite of his mother. He gonna get something. He don't want nobody out his people. You know what I mean? He don't want a woman that look like his mama. He gonna get something high yellow. He gonna get something. You know what I mean? Just a regular old oppressor is what he gonna do. And to me, that's not really a preference type of thing. You can tell the spirit. Sometimes it's not about what you do, it's the spirit you got behind it. You know what I mean? It could be lawful. Sometimes, you know, you get light-skinned sisters, nothing wrong with that, but it's sometimes the spirit behind it. You're like, man, you know what I mean? If you don't like dark-skinned sisters or whatnot, I mean, you don't even have to, don't be vocal about it. Don't be looking down, don't be turning your nose up against them. If you don't like light-skinned sisters the same way, don't turn your nose up against them. Don't talk, you know what I mean? Close your mouth against the people. I mean, the Most High said a dog better not move his tongue against Israel. So also watch what you say. Watch what you say, because you know you can be judged by that. The Most High, He does not bless that. What else we got? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Right. You know, anything. You know, black people. We self-hate each other so much. You know, because we are the products of slavery. We are the products, the children of the slaves, man. You know what I mean? We use anything, doggone, to pick on each other. We use anything to hate each other. You know what I mean? I remember hearing stories of light-skinned sisters getting cut in the face by other dark-skinned sisters. Right. Just cause, you know what I mean? Because they so-called light-skinned and pretty, man. You know what I mean? They get cut. They get $1.50 on their face, man. You know what I mean? And that's a shame, man. You know that's what tell you what slavery did to us. They tell you what that oppressor did to us, man. And that's all part of the curses. Go ahead. Oh
yeah, I saw like one video. It was in Brazil. I saw a couple years back. There was like a pretty light-skinned sister. She got jumped by like 3 dark-skinned women. They had cut off her hair and took her bite. I was like, dang. That's real talk. These are real stories, man. And you know, none of this stuff make believe. I done seen it with my own eyes. You know what I mean? Real light-skinned sister come, she be in the school, or she thinks she all that. You know what I mean? They want to bruise her up, man. They want to bruise her up. And you know, same thing for the dark skin. Like I told you, a lot of things are shifting. A lot of things are shifting to where a lot of people want to be. You know, it's not really. It is looked at like light skin is you know more privileged. But there's a lot of people that want to be dark. You know that they look up to the dark skin now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you know they're gonna you know they're gonna play games on that end also. You know what I'm saying? We can't never just be in the middle. You know what I mean? Embrace who we are and just love each other. It's got to either be all about the light skin or all about the dark skin. Either we hate the dark skin or we're gonna hate the light skin. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be like that. You got that for me? Deuteronomy 28:54. Call from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Right, you know what I'm saying? This is part of the curses. The evil eye towards his brother. A lot of times, you know what I mean, brothers is looking for anything, man. You know what I mean? They see you that you light skinned or whatever, that you dark skinned. There could be a situation just like in the curses that they said the enemy is not going you know what I mean? He's not gonna care about the young and the old. You know what I mean? The same thing with the colorism, the light skin and dark skin. They're not gonna care about all that. You know what I mean? What they call it, fair skin. You know what I mean? When they say fair skin, a lot of times they be thinking that it's that means that that you light skinned or whatever. But when we picked up the Bible, we found out that fair in the Bible does not mean somebody that's light skinned or whatnot. Matter of fact, I got the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. How many of y'all, when y'all hear the word fair, you think about somebody light skinned? Any of y'all think like that or thought like that? Right, you know what I mean? Right. So no correct meaning. Well, we're gonna bring it out just for the YouTube world, just to remind them. You know what I mean? Because we gotta erase everything that we learned that we thought we knew, man. You know what I mean? All that fair skin and looking fair. No, those are not the meanings, man. Coming out of the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, the word fair even explains in here. It's a word translating more than a dozen Hebrew and Greek words. It says none of which the modern sense of blonde or fair-skinned. So it's letting you know right there that it does not mean that when it says that in the Bible, but it has the meaning of beautiful and attractive, unspotted and free of defilement. That's what fair is. You know what I mean? Somebody dark skinned could be a fair person, man, fair looking person. Somebody light skinned could be a fair looking person. These are these things work on this earth. And that's what we must teach our children. You know what I mean? We the first generation to make sure it be a 2G, a 3G, and a 4G, and on and on and on. We hear any of the kids kind of picking on each other about, you so black, you this and that, man. We shutting all that down, man. I don't care if it's funny or not. We shutting that stuff down. You know, amongst our kids now, amongst ourselves, wrong, we make it handle it. But you gotta shut all that stuff down with the kids, because it can lead to insecurities. It can lead to them self-hating themselves. It can lead to them bleaching their skin. It can lead to them going to want to get the oppressor's woman, the oppressor's daughter. You know what I mean? And as long as I have kids, they just don't have to go up and go through everything I went through. That's what they're gonna be thinking, man. You know what I mean? That's human nature. You know what I mean? We seen Esau run this earth. This is his empire. And any race that's running the earth and has a powerhouse on the earth, naturally the rest of the world is gonna try to be like that particular race. You know what I mean? When we run the world, when Christ come back and we get our crowns and we run the world, and as our time to rule, well, we're gonna rule forever after that. But when we rule, of course, they're gonna want to be like the Israelites. But right now, while we in hell, while Esau's running the world, everything is up to his standard. You know what I mean? Even go to Asians. Asians got problems with I was doing a little research on colorism, and I had to remind myself that Asians they have the light skin, dark skin thing going on too. I mean, it's not more so serious than it is with us, but they play little games with that also. Esau played little games with them also. The Indians and the Hispanics, they all play little games with their colorism. You know what I mean? Esau running the earth. People gonna be looking up to him. Gonna be try to fashion themselves amongst him, and that's why you have this bleaching, because they feel like, hey, if I can get a little bit more light skin, then I can I'll be accepting the society. You know what I mean? They won't look at me so threatening. You know what I mean? That's a very shameful thing. I could never imagine that, but that's a really real thing on this earth these days. You know what I mean? Anybody has some colorism experiences they want to bring up and bring out, because we know this type of stuff happens amongst our people all the time. You know what I mean? All right, go ahead.
About me, and I was just thinking about this earlier. In my country, Haiti, there's just different classes that we even back in the slave days. Either call them Creole or Creole, and I think in English it's called them mulattoes. And there was a thing going on that just, if I may, they had a clique, a group of light-skinned women, and then those were close to slave masters. They had it was all black kids, men and women. And they had a meeting with a high-ranking man from France, I think it was German, skin and they get the power. But in the next room, the high-ranking woman, a lady skin, she went to the next room. They found her husband decapitated head in that room. And she was like disgusted. And then that day she found out she was addicted to this fucking light skin. You know, that was the person the Bible speaks of tonight.
Wow, see? You know what I mean? This thing goes deep, right? You know what I mean? You know, in Haiti, you can only imagine. Over there, you know, we got our own things over here also, which is you know, very hateful. But you know, this light skin, dark skin, colorism thing, you know what I mean? It hurts a lot of our people. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why I want to keep on putting emphasis on the sisters too, because they more so, you know what I mean, go by what they looking at, what the world standard of what beauty is, or what the America standard of what beauty is. You know what I'm saying? They start building insecurities within them. You know what I mean? Where they, you know, anybody that know that somebody that's insecure, then you know they can kind of fall for anything. You know what I mean? Their standards are not exactly up. You know what I mean? It could be a nasty oppressor trying to holler at them. You know what I mean? They may just go for it just because. You know what I mean? Or going for anything, or turning to anything because the insecurities built within our people, thinking they just not accepting. You know what I mean? These are things we definitely have to knock down. The pots pick me up in Genesis 2:7. You know what I mean? That's definitely things we have to knock down. We got to put a lot of emphasis on our women, and you know, and let them know that they're beautiful, man. No matter how they come out. You know what I mean? You know, it's always somebody out there that's liking them. I mean, you know, I seen cases where dark-skinned sisters, they have a lot of guys that like them, but just because of what the stigmas that America's put on them, and that they see in a magazine and TV, you can't tell them that they pretty. They just don't believe that they pretty. It don't matter how many dudes all try to get with them or holler at them, whatever. They just fixed on self-hating themselves. You know what I mean? Go ahead, sister.
I was gonna say I actually have a Benjamite friend that's kind of like that. But I also think that it's based off of a lot of times if you kind of grew up with a father, and it just depends on that relationship with the father. Then that female won't have that type of mentality, you know. But I think it's just being I don't know, just how the world is today, like with all the females trying to look so much alike.
Right.
With that, my Benjamite friend, being from Jamaica, she actually does bleach. She has bleached before, and she's had surgery done. And I think it took place for her when she came over to the States. You know what I'm saying? So, but I said she grew up with her father, but I also think because she grew up with her mother as well, that plays a big part in it too. I think it's just based on self-esteem of a person and what type of father they kind of grow up with. Because you grow up with a certain type of father, that won't really affect you. You don't even really see the world like everybody else sees it. Like I know personally, I don't. So I don't pay attention to what other people are doing. But I think it comes from having a father, you know.
Right, and sister, right, that father plays a major role in the household. It can make or break somebody. You know what I mean? We seen, we seen some fathers sometimes that I know about personally. They, they got different color, they got different complexion kids, and the father, you know what I mean? He loved that light, they come to the daughters. Got a dark skinned daughter, got a light skinned daughter, and he more so going towards the light skinned daughter. I seen stuff like that play out, but just like you said, the father does play a big role in that father missing. Then that's it's a trickle down effect from there. But that's why I was bringing out earlier. Like a lot of the word I heard a lot of those Jamaicans, a lot of the West Indians are bleaching themselves. And like, well, I tell you, like leave that stuff to them Hamites, man. Leave that stuff to them ashy Hamites, man. For real, let them have that. But if you Israel and you find out that you really Israel, that you come from the bloodline of the Jews and all that, then you wouldn't dare put a drop of bleach on your skin, man. For what? You look half dead anyway. You know what I mean? You don't even look good like that. You know what I mean? Your skin don't even shine good like that, man. Really. You know what I mean? And did you really get further in life? You know what I mean? But you know, women, it's a whole different thing. Like I said, like a lot of women that's in the industry, they trying to get in the media, they trying to get ahead in certain things, and you cannot tell them women that if they were lighter, then they'll be a lot more further along in life. You know what I mean? That's real sad in the things. That's why fathers, we're gonna be in your daughters' lives. You know what I mean? Don't crash out in life, being in the streets. Where you may die and you in jail or whatnot. We're gonna be there for our loved ones. You know what I mean? I got 3 little girls. I got 3 girls so far, and I got 2 high yellow, what they call high yellow little girls, and I got a dark skinned little girl, well, brown skinned little girl. So you know what I mean? I teach all of them to embrace themselves. And even when they making fun of each other, you know, they may play amongst each other. Oh, you like a white girl or whatever. I shut all that stuff down as soon as I hear it. You know what I mean? I don't even let them play like that. You know what I mean? We just joking now. I don't even joke like that. For real. Because, you know what I mean, them jokes, they build up stuff in your subconscious a lot of times. And, you know, it's better just to shut that stuff down. You got that for me in the pocket?
Come, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
He formed what of the ground?
Formed man of the dust of the ground.
What color? What the most of the color of dust? You got a white tee on it. It's dusty. What color is that? Yeah, that's brown, man. That's brown. That's mostly brown or dark or sometimes black. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You walk around dusty, man. You know what it is. You got some brown on you, man. You know what I mean? And read it over again. What the Most High said.
And the Most High formed man of the dust of the ground. And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is when he formed man.
You know what I mean? He formed him from the dust of the ground, not from, you know what I mean? Not from white dirt. You know what I mean? Not from the sand.
Right.
You know what I mean? He formed them for the dust of the ground, man. We know this is brown. This is black people, so-called black people, man. Real. When you find out the priests and the prophets and the most famous people in the Bible, and when you see pictures of the angels, you know what I mean? That's why it's so important to come into this truth and showing our kids what's what. Real. You growing up, you seeing the angels white. You see, you know, the angels are Caucasian. Jesus, he Caucasian. You got a picture of the Most High, he Caucasian. And then lo and behold, you come into the truth and you see the real pictures. And then you see the description in the Bible. And kind of find out, I mean, we thinking angels, like, you know, don't even got a color. Kind of find out they got color. They dark. They what they call so-called black, man. You know what I mean? Some kinds of spots of them. They black men, afros. You know what I mean? And they say that. Sometimes, you know, when I want to get into that stuff, sometimes about, you know, what they call so-called UFOs or whatnot, people will say, yeah, they black, but they not just regular black. They like African American black. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So you know, when you find that out, that the angels are black, the real pictures. You know what I mean? Then the real depiction of the Most High, he's the black man. The depiction of Christ, that he's a black man. But, you know, 400 years of oppression over here, we seeing nothing but everything being whited out. Everything being, you know, washed over. You know what I mean? You know, they done stole our heritage. Even down to the Lone Ranger, man. Even down to the Lone Ranger. He was an original black man. You know what I mean? They changing everything. Beethoven, everybody, King James. You know what I mean? People that you like, man, he ain't no black man. Man, he for sure white. You kind of find out that is a black man. You know what I mean? It'll trip you out. You know, it'll take you a long time to go through all the cover-ups they done did. And they make it hard. They make it hard. They have this whole system set up to where, you know, you could tell somebody that's grown about that, you know, they still gonna be going on. They still gonna be stuck in their ways. You know what I mean? They still gonna hate themselves. And that's the worst thing you can do. You know what I mean? The Most High puts you here. He puts you in here like you don't have no right to take yourself out. And you know what I'm saying? You should never hate yourself. You know what I'm saying? You should always embrace your heritage, especially when you're coming from a very rich blood, a rich land. All the stuff that we done been through, we done survived everything. We done survived the killing, the slavery, the oppression, the poison in the black community. You know what I'm saying? We walking targets. We nothing but targets. And we survived all that. You should be looking at yourself that we are strong people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Don't shut down nobody when they talking about how black is beautiful, about about how our people are strong and our people have made it. I mean, don't shut anybody down talking about that. We need to embrace that. You know what I mean? And that's why the oppressor is trying to cleave on to the house of Israel right now, because they know their time is short, and they know the world is turning more brown. Well, the world is already black and brown, but it's really about to wipe them out. You know what I mean? So that's why they cleaving on to us, trying to leave a little heritage, a little seed behind, mixed in some kind of way. You know what I mean? Because they know their time is short, man, and they know their genes are not receptive. You know what I mean? Our genes are the most receptive genes. You know what I mean? Blonde hair, blue eyes, that's not even a strong gene. You know what I mean? So we see what the enemy is trying to do and the moves they're trying to make. You know what I mean? That's when you turn on. It's going back to the media, going back to Hollywood. You know, it's a reason why you turn on TV, and if you're gonna see an interracial couple, and they be pushing the interracial couples along with the homosexuality thing too on TV. But when they push that interracial couple, it's never gonna be a black man with a so-called white woman. It's never gonna be that. And that's more what we see out here in the streets and out here in the world. That's more reality. That black man and that white man will like the black man, and that's more of the couples that we see. But when you turn on the TV, what you gonna see? You gonna see that white man with that black woman. You know what I mean? You may not even seen it before, but it's like I have so many shows that they're bringing it out because they trying to normalize that. They're trying to make it the new norm. Just like they made a new normal being effeminizing the black man and the Hispanic man. They're doing the same thing with the sisters, making it like it's normal to go out and get an oppressor. It's okay to go out and get an oppressor. It's okay to marry him, bring him home to the family, and have a baby. I see the plots that they doing. Anybody else seen that on TV? Like they turn on these shows and you see an interracial couple, and like, is that another a white man with a black woman? Like, I don't even see this in regular life now. I mean, you will see it every now and then, but I mean, has anybody else been seeing it also? It's been tripping me out. What you say? Y'all seen it? Y'all noticed that also? Oh yeah, definitely. I forgot to bring about Eve, and that's another crazy thing. Yeah, because they making that the new norm, and he a billionaire also. So all the sisters like, go get your money, girl. All I'm thinking like that. He a billionaire, Edomite. You know what I mean? How Eve come up? Eve from Philly. She came up singing street music. Love is Blind and all that. She came up, talking about thugging and Rough Riders or whatever. And, you know what I'm saying? And she turned around and married an Edomite and having a little Edomite baby. And he's a billionaire. But if she know like we know, all the millions and billions in the world is can't amount to the seed of Israel. Go ahead.
She in a song, she talking about she a volatile chick, and all that, and she ain't even dead, but she with the devil. You know what I mean?
Right, she with the devil. I mean, they have a lot of they're gonna be going through hell because we already know the oppressor. He's a nasty. He's not like us. You know what I mean? He want the weird. He want very weird, unconventional things. Definitely not regular things done to him. on a regular basis behind closed doors. So we already know she catching hell through that. You know what I mean? She got closed nose on a lot of things dealing with him. And when the issues come up in the household, you know, Trayvon Martin, they done killed another black man, the cops done killed another black man, and because we already know it's only a matter of time. Freddie Gray, you know, we can name them all the dudes that fell victim to a so-called white cop or whatnot. You know what I mean? It's gonna cause turmoil in their household. You know what I mean? It's gonna be blacks and whites gonna be against each other about some type of issue that's gonna happen. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. And when those happen, people like Eve, people like Michelle from Destiny's Child, when stuff like that happen, they're gonna have to side with their husband, man. They're gonna have to side with their husband. And you know, and that's no good to us. It's no good to us at all. You know what I mean? And they gonna get called nigga too, really, because you know people like to think just because you know just because the oppressor is find you attractive, then that means they not racist. That, you know what I mean? But we have to remind them, you know, you forgot about slavery. You forgot about slavery for real. They just look at you as property or whatnot. For real, they kept slavery going until they had to make a civil war and fight against it. And, you know, it's not really, it wasn't even really about slavery, but it didn't even come until a war came. It didn't even end until a war came. So, you know what I mean, they can sleep with that woman and sleep, the white woman can sleep with you all day, but that's not going to stop them from enslaving you. That's not going to stop them from oppressing you. They don't want to see you at the top. They don't want to see you on the same level as them, man. And, you know, that's what we're bringing that out. The Most High formed us. He formed man from the dust of the ground, and that's how we want to see all our kids come out. You know, even they come out high, light skin or whatever, it's all about that bloodline. You know what I mean? So colorism, you know what I mean? That's what this class is about. It's a real sad thing. It's counterproductive in our community. It's just another tactic from slavery, another tactic from the oppressor to keep us down, to keep us fighting amongst each other. You know what I mean? Just like that. Just like your boss, just like the boss at work. He may be Edomite and got the brothers and brothers on the job and the sisters on the job. They all divided and separating each other based off complexion and bickering and fighting amongst each other off complexion and got more. You acting light skinned or you acting dark skinned, but not worried about how the oppressors act. You know what I mean? How the Caucasian act. You know what I mean? How the one with no melatonin. We need to be focused on his ways. You know what I mean? So that's what I.S.U.P.K do. We're gonna put the tactics in place. That's why they not invited into this school. They cannot set a foot in this school. That's why we don't make moves with them. You know what I mean? Because we only got room to build this nation. You know what I mean? We only got room to teach our children about how great we are. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna see that on TV about the oppressors and all the other races, but we have to give them the truth, and our truth is right there. Is more royal than anything that can ever be depicted on a Hollywood set. And yeah, so we shut down all the racism amongst our people one by one. That's why we on the streets, and that's what we screaming out on the streets, man. We haven't forgot. And with that, Officer Barker Allah, I'm gonna turn the class over to Officer Napas.
Powerful class. Here's the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We're at I.S.U.P.K start at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Room for a new brother and sister. We're new brother and sister coming to the school. They are living for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to save themselves of the world. If they need transportation, teach you where to arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment, the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. My Ishra means 10 in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free offer for a priest not mandatory. Whatsoever you might like to give. Do The next holy convocation will be the Feast of her Chronicle, dedication. They're going to be the space of 8 days. They're going to start Sunday, November 28th, sundown. You also going to find that in the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52 to 61. I'll walk them to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boot, shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. And before you head to the school, make sure to Google the address so you can have better algorithm and the traffic for the area. With that, give one curse salute, men Israel, Almighty. Give one curse salute to the teacher, men Israel, Almighty Sabbat, Almighty. Rock. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah.
While I said to you in the Hebrew, may the Most High in the name of Christ bless you. Yah Matap. Yah Matap. Means hands down. If you got a sister online in the classroom, give one salute to the sister. Men Israel, Amaya Sabbat, Amaya, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Hashem Yahshua. While I said to the sister, may the Most High watch over you in the name of Christ. Yah Matap, mean hands down. Class dismissed.
Wow.